All right, we are at the top of the hour, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. Gina, Matt, if you can continue to let those attendees in. Looks like we still have a few folks trying to jump in here to this webinar, but we've only got 30 minutes today, so I want to jump right into the content. Everybody should be seeing my screen. I've got a few PowerPoint slides we'll spend about 3 minutes on. Then the rest of the time, we're going to jump into a live demo and how you can use our invoice and statement delivery and financial dashboard tools to automate your year-end AR and ultimately get paid quicker. So a couple housekeeping items first before we jump into that. You've got myself and Matt both presenting today. I'm going to lead most of the PowerPoint as well as the demo. Like I said, if you've got any questions, please just drop them in the chat as we go. Matt will be helping monitor that, and both of us will be helping answer those questions as well as any follow-up questions that come after this presentation. So there's a large group of us here today. For those of you who don't know, my company ERP Connect in July merged with Open Door Technology to form Rux Software. So this is one of the first large webinars we have with both audiences. So really appreciate our past clients as well as all of our new clients and prospects and partners joining today. We're really excited to show you kind of how this is all going to work together. And again, the main objective for today being to automate your AR and get paid quicker. So we're going to have two tools that help with this. We've got our invoice and statement delivery as well as our financial dashboard, and we'll get into the fit gap on both of those in a second. But again, just to reiterate the objective for today, it's to reduce your day sales outstanding, stop chasing your customers, right? Have the system do it for you, and ultimately take some of these day-to-day tasks off of your plate and let Business Central handle them. Now, the one thing I do always say is that it's probably unrealistic that 100% of your customers are just going to magically pay once implementing these tools, right? We're trying to get that 80-20 split where it's going to take about 80% of that work you're doing today off of your plate. Everybody's probably gotten a reminder in the past, hey, you've got this outstanding invoice. It's not that we're purposely ignoring them, right? We're all busy, but those constant reminders in your clients' inboxes should, and we've seen this in practice, help get paid quicker. So first with invoice and statement delivery, this is going to be our flagship product for today, right? And some of the gaps that we currently see are the way Business Central emails documents and bulk sends and does statements and reminders and things like that, right? So mainly what we're going to be focusing on today is the solutions that we'll see here next, right? The biggest one is the ability to automatically send these sales documents upon posting, which I'll show in the system. We've also got the ability to do statements with invoice attachments, automated reminders going out on a regular cadence, as well as some enhanced rich text HTML templates that give you a little bit more flexibility when it comes to branding, because we all know that if they see your brand, they're more likely to interact with it rather than just some plain text email that says, hey, please pay our invoice, right? Then the second app that we've got that we're going to talk about today, invoice and statement delivery, is going to do the heavy lifting, sending the documents, plugging into the emails and all that jazz. The financial dashboard is going to help us actually monitor that we're making progress. I don't like to just implement tools and say, yep, they're working great. I like to show that they're working great. So some of the things that we can do with the financial dashboard is track real time our day sales outstanding at a company level as well as a customer level. We can also track our overall view of our AR analytics with drill down capabilities and a lot of interaction within that. So without further ado, since we've only got about 25 minutes left on this demo, I'm going to demo both how invoice and statement delivery and financial dashboard work together with that goal of taking tasks off your plate and ultimately getting paid faster and reducing your day sales outstanding. So let's jump into Business Central here. If I could just get a couple thumbs up that the screen flipped over properly. I know there's a lot of people here, so just a couple people confirming here that they can now see Business Central is great, and we'll jump right into it. So the first thing that I'm going to show is just setting up a customer. There's going to be two fields that you can kind of make user defined to define how these documents are going to be sent and who they're sent to. So let's go ahead and create a brand new customer here. And we're going to kind of tell the story full end to end, right? So create the customer, set them up, and then automate all the document sending. So I'm going to go ahead and click new here. And we'll just use one of our templates here. Actually, let's use the new customer. I'm not sure what this person has on it. So let's do another new one. Let's do our new customer template. It should have some things that I'm going to show here in a second. So this guy's always going to pay late. We'll have late Larry here. as our new customer, one of the important things to note is my document sending profile, right? So we've got a lot of automation going on behind the scenes. One of the keys here is that their document sending profile is email. If it's not, it will not email those documents automatically. This is just a safeguard so that if you don't want to email people automatically, you can leave it blank or have the document sending profile be print or something like that. But if it is email, when we post documents as the first step, they're automatically going to send, right? So as we jump into that, we'll explore the 3 sending options, which are send on post, which we'll show, send from a dashboard, which gives you just a quick view of all of your invoices, statements, reminders, things like that. You can select multiple of them, batch send them, and then the final is the job queue. If you really want it to be touchless, you just put that on a job queue and it's going to send everything at the end of the day, week, month, whatever you define, right? All right, so we've got Late Larry here. We've got email as the document sending profile. And then the only other things to call out here are this AR email. So if you don't have an AR email, it will use the out-of-box Business Central email down here. But if you need a little bit more granularity, I'm going to put this email here. This is my email. And if you wanted even more granularity, you can actually define, statements go to one person, payment reminders go to another person, sales invoices go to a third person, right? So whatever you'd like to configure there, you absolutely can do so, but just trying to keep it simple for today's setup. Statement delivery option. This is one of the biggest reasons that this tool is downloaded that we hear from our clients, right? The ability to send statements with invoice attachments. So just for the demo, I'm going to put statement delivery option as statement, separate files. Anytime our clients get statements, they're also going to get those invoice attachments. And then for invoice consolidation, I'm also going to consolidate this. I'm going to say one email, separate files. Just to clarify, the only difference here is separate files. If they have 5 invoices, we'll send 5 attachments. If they do one email, one file, it will send one PDF, each page being its own invoice. So again, user preference, whatever you like. I like the separate files, especially for my demo instances. So now we're already seeing some of those features in hand, right? We've got our AR email, we've got consolidation, and we've got statement attachments. All right, so at this point, those are really the only fields that you can quickly configure and that you need for invoice and statement delivery. And before we actually create a document, I'll just show you one more thing on the setup. Again, we'll get into this at the end, but the setup end-to-end for both of these tools combined takes anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. So it's a very light lift, and it gives you a lot of additional functionality at your fingertips. So within the setup, the main piece to call out here is this email upon posting. So that was option 1. We've also got the dashboard and the job queue that we'll talk about. So since email upon posting is turned on, when I go send a sales order or a sales invoice, it's automatically going to send that email as soon as I click the button. There's not going to be any additional dialog boxes or anything else that you have to toy with. It's just going to send, right? So we'll show that in a second. And then additionally, we've got the email subjects, email bodies. That's all configurable to your liking. We have some standards that we deploy. And then the other 2 things we'll be looking at is our statement, as well as our past due reminders. When we get to the past due reminders, one key thing to call out here is these formulas. What this is saying is that 0 days after it's due or on its due date, it's going to send the first reminder. Then every 7 days after that, it's going to send up a follow-up reminder. So if it's due today, it's going to say, send this first email saying, hey, your invoice is due today. Then after that, it's going to say, hey, your invoice is 7 days late, 14 days late, 21 days late, right? And again, you can do that manually from a dashboard, or you can schedule it on a job queue so that every 7 days, all those invoices or all those reminders for those invoices are going out automatically via email. So I'm sure nobody cares too much about seeing all of the setup. They want to see how these invoices get sent, right? So let's go ahead and create a sales order. And what you'll notice is that nothing that I'm doing here is custom. I'm just processing sales orders as I normally would. Same with sales invoices. I'm going to click new here. We'll use Late Larry here for our customer. Didn't put an address, but that's fine. Let's see if there's anything else I need here. We'll keep this one pretty simple. I'm just going to add an item for this Microsoft Surface 8 pop-up note. Okay, this is just a pop-up note from another app we've got saying, hey, try to upsell some stuff with that Surface. We'll skip that for now. And we've got a $1,300 sales order that's about to go out, right? Just to keep it simple, I'm going to post it. I'm going to ship and invoice it at the same time. We'll see a couple different notifications, one coming to me internally for the ship, another going out to the customer for the invoice. I've also got myself CC'd on all invoices that go out. So another thing to look at maybe for your accounting or AR team, sometimes they want to be copied on all those communications. We can absolutely do that with our invoice and statement delivery tool. And that was just another field in the setup called CC email address. Do you want to see this invoice? No, I don't. I'm going to actually go into my email, and it looks like we've already got a couple documents at 11:10. That is the current time. So we've got the sales order shipment. Again, this is just coming to me internally as the salesperson saying it's shipped. This is the invoice that your customer would see. So this is the main point that we're looking at in our demo today. So thanks for being a valued client. Please, pay this invoice. If I click in, it's got the invoice right there. Surface 8, quantity of 1, $1,300. All of that looks great, right? So you can brand this however you'd like. Looks like I need to update my client name there, but that's okay. I've got the right signature, so that's good. Amount due $1,300, due date 12/24/2025, right? So at their fingertips in the email body, already seeing pertinent information. And if they want to explore that further, they can absolutely do so here. Something else to call out. If you have supporting documentation or attachments or anything like that, it will also send here if you so choose. So let's go do another one real quick. And let's come back into our sales orders. Let's do our friend Larry again. And we'll just send the same 1017. And we'll do a quantity of 2 this time, just so we can see it when we send a statement that we've got 2 different amounts. So that should be $2,600. And this time, quick question I see pop up. Can you put a payment link on the signature block? Yes, you absolutely can. It does depend on obviously the provider that you're using, but for all the providers that we've seen and we've used in the past, we absolutely can. So feel free to reach out after if you're trying to get that payment link in the signature, and we can absolutely help with that. All right, so let's upload some files here. I'm going to do just our product guide here that we've got. And let's show the details. So this is the checkbox that you'll want, and we'll show this in practice here. So include an email ISD. If you check this, not only is it going to send the invoice, but it's also going to include any additional attachments that you've got. So in this case, product guide, but maybe if you're a professional service firm, attaching the hour details. If you're a supplier, maybe including spec sheets on the products that you've sold, or warranty documents, things like that, right? But anything you want, world's your oyster. Just throw them in here, check the box, and they will send with invoice and statement delivery. So let's go ahead and post this one. We'll see some more emails. And then what I'm going to do next is show some consolidation, right, on the invoices themselves. Then we'll move to the statements. So again, I'm showing step 1 so far, which is send on post. You don't have to think about it. You post it, it automatically sends. Some of the automation we'll see is around the statements and reminders here in a second, but I do need these documents before I can obviously generate those documents. Let's see here. All right, just wait a second for the invoice to come through. Probably because I attached that second attachment. It's just taking an extra second here to do so, just since that file is probably a little bit larger. All right, there we go. $2,600 for late Larry, 12/24/25. Sales invoice. Again, we've got here Surface 2 units, $1,300. And again, I just put that product guide in there. So any of those attachments would also go out with your invoices originally. I'm going to jump to the reminders and statements next for our collections piece, right? So far, we've just sent the emails for the invoices. We hope they pay, but really where that reduction in AR comes is what I'm about to talk about. So going to answer a few questions just because I see a bunch popping up here. We talked about the payment link. Can these be sent automatically after posting? Yes, absolutely. So again, 3 options. Send on post, which we just showed. Let me show the other 2 options real quick. So great question. So let's jump into Business Central again. I'm going to come back to the homepage and show option 2, which is to send from the invoice delivery dashboard. Now, what the invoice delivery dashboard is going to do is it's going to show us every single document, every posted sales invoice in our system. It's going to show us the last time it was delivered. So we see 12/9 at 11/12, right? That's the one I just sent for late Larry. If you manually want to do this, this is option 2. I can select both of these, click print send, and this is kind of like our bulk sending technique, which just click yes, you do want to send it. It asks me one extra thing like, hey, you already sent this. Are you sure you want to do it again? If you haven't already sent them, like the ones we see down here. So these 3, since there is no timestamp and it says pending, this is indicating to us that it has not yet been sent. So again, just kind of a little piece of advice there, and then also shows you who delivered it. So one of the cool things that we'll show here real quick is when I set up the customer card, I told it to consolidate invoices. So let's say you had 10 of these instead of sending the client 10 emails, which would be kind of a nuisance, right? Or it could be annoying for some folks, especially those of us who get a lot of emails every day, right? It's really nice to just have one email. It is invoices, but it kind of looks like a statement, right? It's just going to give them a grid of all the invoices that they have open. It's going to include all the invoices. Plus, again, we've got the product guide here. So that would be any additional attachments and things like that. Now, that's not fully automated. Your question was about automation. So if you want to get fully automated, what you would do if you didn't want to send on post would be to use a job queue. So what this job queue is going to do is it's going to allow us to just say, hey, every day at 5 o'clock, send everything that hasn't been sent yet. So in order to do that, you would turn on the ISD send invoice emails. Again, this is just a standard out-of-box job queue. All you got to do is turn it on. We've already set it up for you. Just tell us what time you want to run it at and how often. Maybe you only want to run it Monday through Friday. You don't want Saturdays and Sundays. That'd be my recommendation. Now you're not sending on post, which was option 1. You're not sending from the dashboard, and it's just grouping everything up at the end of the day and sending anything that hasn't been sent yet. All right, I think that answered that question at a minimum. We'll keep going here. Will there be an access to this recording? Yes, there will. Can send options per customer and AR email values be updated using edit in Excel? Yes, they can. I would recommend doing them in configuration packages, at least for this. That's just my personal preference. I find it to be a little bit quicker and easier to use. And we have some configuration packages that are kind of predefined. So if you need any of those to upload data, don't hesitate to reach out and I can absolutely get you those config packages. Can these be sent on? We answered that. Can customers be excluded based on document sending profiles or some other way? Yes, absolutely. So one of those first things that I showed that I kind of breezed over, so I'll revisit it again, is the, let's look at Larry here. We've got this document sending profile. So I would just either blank that out or click print or something like that, and it will not be included when documents are being sent out automatically via invoice and statement delivery. Additionally, we have some other options down here, like don't send reminders and things like that. So if you wanted to send invoices, you could leave this on email. But if you didn't want to send reminders, you could turn the reminders off as an example. So great question. All right, let's jump back in. So we created the invoices, we did the consolidation. The next thing I want to show is the statement with the invoice attachments, because this is one of the most popular requests that we get. And we can do this. You can do this from the customer card. There's a button on the customer card. There's also a dashboard. I'm going to show the dashboard. So we'll go statement delivery dashboard. And now, unlike the last one that we saw, that was every individual document. This is just going to be the customer list, right? So if I look for Larry, we've never sent him a statement, right? We just created him today. Last statement number 0. If the statement has any errors for any reason, it will put the error code here. In the fact box, we can see all like the posted sales invoices for Larry and things like that. You can see what email address they're going to, this BC one here. But what I want to do right now is actually send the statement. So again, if you had, all your customers, you do a multi-select, click that button, it's going to send all the statements at the same time. Again, based on the options that you have, whether you're statement only, we have an option for no statement. So again, going off the question of can we skip over people, you can just define them as no statement. Statement will never get sent to them, or statement with the invoices, which is what we're going to show here. All right, so let's give it a second. I just sent this. So these are all the emails so far from today's demo. Just make sure that that did send. Yep, so we see the date timestamp, 12/9, 11/18 from Ben. And we'll just give that a second while I answer some more questions here. Are all of the email features also available on the vendor cards and the AP side? Example, statement email, vendor AR contact, and batch run reminder emails for vendors. So this invoice and statement delivery tool is specifically focused on the AR side of the house and the sales side. We've got some other tools that can do vendor reminders. We've got an advanced purchasing tool that can follow up on vendors who haven't delivered their goods or whatever it is, right? Anything that they're shipping to you. So I can follow up on that one. It wouldn't be in this tool, though. This tool is specifically focused on the customer and the AR side. And then finally, can you filter to only send statements to customers with a balance? Yes, that is actually the default. So if you wanted to send to customers with a $0 balance in the ISD setup, you would actually have to turn on, let's see, send zero balance statements. So by default, that's going to be off. Ron, that's your question. So it will, by default, not send people $0 statements. If you want to send everyone a statement, regardless if they have a balance or not, just turn this toggle on. Great question. All right, let's look at this email, and then we'll jump into our last piece. So, hey, thanks for being a valued client. Please find your December statement attached for Larry, blah, blah, blah. We've got our payment links. It included our attachments again, our Rux product guide. We've got a statement right here. So one of the other things to call out, we've got an enhanced statement that we use. A lot of times people just, may find the product because they like the way our statement looks versus the out-of-box statement. This is going to come deployed standard with our install. So feel free to use it at your leisure. And if you want us to customize anything or your partner to customize anything, we absolutely can. Just make sure that you're using our custom report ID, which you can search for in the report selection. And I can also drop in the chat. So that's the statement. And then, of course, the statement's also going to attach all of our open invoices, because or at least the biggest question I get typically when sending statements out without attachments is, hey, I never got that invoice. Can you please, send it along? Which this resolves and alleviates all of those pain points, because now you're reducing that back and forth from their team to yours. Here's everything. You've got it all. There's no follow-up questions. They can choose to, of course, still not pay you. We don't have control over that, but this likely will push them in the right direction in order to get these logged and then get them out in their payment runs. All right, so we've talked about sending invoices on post from a dashboard and automatically from a job queue. The statements we did from the dashboard, but those can also be automated via a job queue, which is the most common, I would say. A lot of times people will install this for the first month or two. They might send them manually from that dashboard. And then after they feel comfortable with it, of course, from a testing perspective, they'll just put it on a job queue and say, hey, on the last day of every month, please send all of our customers that have don't have a $0 balance can go ahead and get those sent out automatically. All right, the last piece we're going to talk about here, then we'll jump into the financial dashboard, is our past due reminders. So this is where I said, hey, on the due date, send them a reminder, and then every 7 days after that. So again, this can be done on a job queue or from this dashboard that we have here. I'm just going to do this quickly for the sake of time, but this will show the last time a reminder was sent. If it's blank, that means no reminders have ever been sent. And if I just wanted to send a quick one here, I'll just say send reminder email. But again, I'm showing this because it's difficult to demo the job queue, but imagine this all happening automatically behind the scenes with a job queue if you so desire. All right, now we'll wait for that email to come in. Then we'll jump over to financial dashboard and jump back to the PowerPoint to wrap this up with some raffles for our gift cards, as well as some promotions on our toolbox itself. All right. Let's see, did that send? It did. All right, we'll come back to that here in a second. Just looks like the email's taken a second to arrive. That's totally normal. And we'll finish up with our financial dashboard. So some of it you can see directly on this homepage, some of those invoice and statement delivery triggers, like the statements and the recurring documents and the delivery, as well as the aging. So this is going to be part of our ISD as well as our financial dashboard, but you can see what's in each bucket. You can actually drill down into the individual documents themselves. And if you want to see that full-blown dashboard, all you've got to do is search for financial dashboard after you've downloaded it from AppSource. So let's jump in here real quick. And that first thing is the interactive aging. So that would be under our accounts receivable tab. But on the home page of the financial dashboard, you can see some KPIs like your AR payments on time. So I want to get 70% paid on time. We're getting 100. I want my day sales outstanding to be under 25. It's at 16.22. So all those things are pointing in the right direction. And then the main thing here is the interactive AR aging. So on this aging, right, taking what we just looked at from an invoice and statement delivery standpoint, we should now see the financial dashboard AR statistics going in the right direction, which would be reducing all of these balances, right? So it's interactive, like I said. If you click into any of these things, it's going to change your view. You can see all of your past due customers by balance. So if I wanted to see, what the AG group is doing, I can click into them, see all of their documents. I can go as far as showing the individual document. I can leave some AR notes on this. So I can say like at Ben, please make sure they pay us today or something like that, right? That's going to live right on the document. And I'll also get an email with that information. And then finally, we've got our standard or traditional accounts receivable details, which is just going to show all of your customers. Again, it's very intuitive. You can click into the data, city, state, phone number, contact, credit limits, last date they paid us, as well as, let's see, it wants to refresh. Of course it does. All right, we'll refresh that real quick. And we can see the last date they paid us and then the average payday. So this is going to be per customer. So if you wanted to see per customer how long it's taking each customer to pay, you can sort here. And if their average paydays is greater than their terms, it will flag them as a late payer. So in this case, we can see they've got a $230,000 balance. On average, it takes them 147 days to pay us, and their terms is 7 days. Obviously, that is a bold and red negative health check indicator there on our AR details. But not only are you just exporting a Excel document or the PDF Business Central gives you, you have indicators, and you also have the ability to actually drill down into these buckets, see what documents that makes up. A good example I've got here is if you had open payments, you could apply the payments to the invoices or apply credit memos to the invoices without ever leaving your aging, because all we're doing here is surfacing the customer ledger entries themselves. So a lot of powerful features here. I know I only have about 4 minutes left. I'm going to answer some questions. Then we're going to jump back to the PowerPoint, recap this whole thing, give away some gift cards, and give everybody a promo code if they are interested in buying one of our bundles. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Matt, it looks like you've got most of these taken care of already. I'll just try to read a few aloud. Is there a AR email field on the ship to address card as well? Yes, there is. And we have, again, just with the sake of time, I didn't go into the ship to variations, but we've also got different options if you do use ship tos as to who those invoices go to. If you've got bill to sell to relationships, again, defining who those go to. Typically, you want it to go to the bill to, right? But we've got a lot of options there that we can explore. If a customer has an invoice that just came due 0 days and an invoice 2 weeks past due, does the customer receive 2 notices? There are ways to consolidate those, but again, depends on the options that you have selected. Typically 1 reminder per invoice there, like Matt said. But again, we have the options to consolidate those if needed. Instructions on how to set these up, we can absolutely send those in a follow-up email. And just for the sake of time, I'm probably going to have to jump back to the PowerPoint, but I will stick around for 5 or 10 more minutes if we want to get the rest of these questions answered after the time, because I know other people have other meetings that they've probably got to jump to. So let's jump back here to the PowerPoint. So just as a recap, we went over two of our tools today. We have exactly 37 tools total across all of the Rux portfolio. So here's just a couple up on the screen. If we're wanting to dive deeper, I would highly recommend scanning this QR code. It's going to give you a 1-pager for all 37 apps that we've got out on AppSource today. It's going to talk about the gaps that we currently see, our solutions, some quick wins, as well as how long each app takes in order to get up and running. All right, so a couple promos that we've got, and then we'll do the raffle. The first one is if anybody buys both invoice and statement delivery and the financial dashboard or our unlimited bundle, which gets you all of our applications, we're going to be waiving that fee to help set it up. So typically we charge a flat fee of $750. Again, for anybody who's joined our webinar today, that fee will be waived if you purchase before the end of the year. So just let us know or use this webinar waive code on our product page, which I'll also send the link to in the chat, and that will waive that $750 fee and get you a free implementation for both of these tools. The second I've got, again, we only talked about 2 of our tools today, but we've got 35 that live in the toolbox, 37 total with our rentals and service apps. If you go all in, which buys our unlimited package, we're going to give you 25% off. That concludes our presentation for today. Really appreciate everybody joining. I will stick around for about 5 or 10 more minutes, or as long as it takes to answer everybody else's questions. If you've got any questions, I'm going to drop my email in the chat here as well. So do not hesitate to reach out if you've got any follow-ups, and we would gladly schedule a follow-up meeting with you. If I don't talk to everybody before the end of the year, hope everybody has a great holiday season and a happy new year, and I'm sure we'll all talk soon.